folks, welcome to another Ryan Sports Reviews. Tonight, I am reacting to my 2020-2021 Premier League predictions. I have everything written down on this note card. I'll talk a little bit about the teams and why I thought I predicted them there and what their season was like, pretty much. And then I'll give you my average of how many places I had off from each prediction at the end. So first off, Sheffield United. I predicted they'd come 11th. They finished 20th. That's a -9 on places, 9 places lower than I predicted them to finish. I didn't think they'd be as good as they were last season, but I didn't think they'd be horrible. I didn't think they'd be completely shambolic. I knew they'd lose a couple of places because of Henderson going back to Manchester United, but I didn't think Sheffield would go that far down. I didn't think they'd play so horribly. I thought Ryan Brewster was a good signing. I thought the team looked pretty good. I had good faith in Sheffield, and oh my word, it was worse. Not as bad as Derby County 2006-07, but it was close. It was almost there. One of the worst seasons I've ever seen for a Premier League team, especially that first half, but Jesus Christ. Sheffield was destined for the drop, foot of the table the whole season, and I'm so disappointed I got that one wrong. That was a bad start. Oh, that was a bad start. Next up, West Bromwich Albion, West Brom. Predicted them to come 20th. They finished 19th. That's one better than I predicted them to be, but I thought they'd finish 20th. I didn't think they'd stay up. So I had them in the right area, but the only reason they finished a place higher is because Sheffield was so bad. So I don't think that was a bad prediction at all. Even Big Sam couldn't keep them up. Even when they sacked Slaven Bilic to bring in Big Sam, I'm like, they could stay up, and that would have been bad, but even Big Sam didn't want to keep them up. He couldn't, and he normally keeps teams up, so that's kind of a sad one for him. He's finally got a stain on his CV, but then again, it's probably nearly time for him to retire anyway. I don't think he cares at all. So, better, one place better, but pretty much expected them to finish where they finished. Next up, Fulham. I predicted them to come 19th. They finished 18th. Another one place better, pretty much because of Sheffield United being so dross. But I didn't have no faith in Scott Parker. I had no faith in the squad and Fulham. I didn't think they'd do great. I thought they'd save some points because of Alphonse Areola being there. But other than that, I didn't have really any faith in Fulham. I didn't expect them to do that well. They were in the relegation zone all season, and it was their own doing. They weren't great. They never really tried a great escape. They were down for the whole season. So for me, I had them in the relegation zone. They were one place better, but you can't get mad at that. Again, Sheffield put them one place higher than they really would have been, so I didn't really miss there. Next up, Burnley. I predicted them to come 15th. They finished 17th. 2 places worse than I predicted them to finish, but it's Burnley. I really should have predicted them to finish 17th, but it's Burnley. They'll be in the bottom half, but not relegation fodder. That's what they are. I don't think they'll ever finish as high as they did when they got 7th and had a Europa tour for a while. A couple of seasons ago. They'll never do that again. They'll never do that again. Bottom half, but not relegated. That's always where they are. So I didn't really miss there, even though they were 2 lower. And they were right there, but they still stayed up pretty comfortably. I can't get mad at that one at all. I'm really just mad at the Sheffield one, but hey. Next up, Brighton and Hove Albion. I predicted them to come 13th. They finished 16th, 3 lower than I predicted them to go. I thought the football under Graham Potter would have gotten better. It's a good way to play. I like the way they play. But I thought they'd finish higher. And they started off the season pretty hot, but then they tailed off. Still stayed up comfortably, but I thought they'd play better. I thought they would finish higher. I thought the way they play would give them the push to go higher and stay higher up in the table. Closer to mid-table, but hey, closer to the top half. But hey, not a bad season, but a bad prediction for me. I kind of missed there. But you have to see that I think they will go a little bit higher next year. I do think. Depending on who gets promoted. Well, Norwich, Watford, and Brentford or Swansea. If it's Swansea, they could be a little bit higher. But if it's Brentford, I think Brentford would take that spot. I think Watford goes back down, but I think Norwich stays up this time. But that you'll hear that in like August for me. But I kind of do think so. Southampton, I predicted them to come 10th. They finished 15th, 5 lower than I predicted. This is a horrible season for Southampton. At first, they actually did top the league for 24 hours earlier in the season. But Southampton wasn't great this year. After that second 9-0 in a year, they basically tailed off horribly. Was it 7 losses in a row? Yeah. Southampton, they're not in form anymore. I thought they would keep their form going, and that's why I thought they would finish top half, but they couldn't keep it going, and they finished in the bottom half, and a very sad finish for them. 5 lower than I thought. But there you go. Crystal Palace. I predicted them to come 17th. They finished 14th. That's 3 better than what I thought, which is good for them. I don't think that was a bad miss. They're like in that pack of best of the worst, you know? You're trying to fight to be the best of the worst, the best of the bottom half. And I didn't think they weren't, but they were a lot higher than I expected. But for me, I thought that Roy Hodgson doesn't have it anymore. But yeah, he's retiring. He's off. But I thought they'd finish right above the relegation line. They didn't. They finished a little way above it. And that's good for Crystal Palace. They were better than I expected them to be, even though they're really just still a one-man team with Zaha. But it's Crystal Palace. They'll find their way to find some results and prove you wrong. So I'm not mad about that prediction. Next up, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Wolves. I predicted them to come 7th. They finished 13th. That's -6. Wolves, what the hell happened? Well, okay, we know what happened. Raul Jimenez got hurt. They got rid of Diogo Jota. And Nuno just became a rotten pumpkin of a manager. They needed Raul Jimenez, Mr. Mexico, Mr. El Tri, Mr. CONCACAF. And he got hurt, and that's when they took the downturn, and they just started settling out for draws and 1-goal losses. Wolves had a bad downturn after Raul Jimenez got hurt, and I hope he comes back because I want to see Wolves do better. And if he does come back, even with the new manager, probably Rafa, sounds like Rafa Benitez, I think Wolves will do better. Now, question is will he come back? I think Raul will come back, but will he be the same? I think so. I love CONCACAF. I want to see him do good. CONCACAF's my thing. I want to see Raul do good. I live in CONCACAF, but I want to see Raul do good. Will he? I don't know. Could be bad. But yep. Wolves finished worse than I expected. Next up, Newcastle United. I predicted them to come 16th. They finished 12th. +4. I can't believe Newcastle finished 12th under Steve Bruce. I can't. Even with Miguel Almiron. Former Atlanta United player, Miguel Almiron. I didn't expect it. Callum Wilson was pretty good this season, but I did not expect Newcastle to finish that high. So great for them. I did not at all. Newcastle were good this season. Depending on, or looking at what it was, they were good this season. Steve Bruce is still a horrible manager. If you still had Rafa, they'd probably be 10th or 9th. But Steve Bruce is still horrible. They carried him. Almiron, Callum Wilson, but they carried him. They carried him. and they did way better. So that's a props to them. That's a props to them. Next up, Aston Villa. I predicted them to finish 14th. They finished 11th, +3. I had faith in Aston Villa. I just didn't have that much faith to where they'd almost be in the top half. That's even better than I expected from them. I thought Dean Smith was a good manager. I thought Grealish was a good player, and they lost him for about 2 months, and they still finished 11, which is great. They were actually about, 8th before they lost him, so that's a little bit of a drop-off, but they almost finished top half anyway. Great for Aston Villa. I want to see them get good again, so I'm happy for them. They deserve to finish this high. They're a great team. They could recruit even better. They could finish top 10 next year. I still think they will. It's a time to get back to where they used to be, but it's brick by brick, and I'm glad they are. Aston Villa is a big club. They need to be in the Prem, and they need to be top 10, at least. Europa, at best. Maybe even Champions League outside looking in. I want to see them get back there, and they probably will. I really think so. Now, but a great season by Aston Villa. Everton. I predicted them to finish 9th. They finished 10th. Which, that's a -1. That's one worse than what I expected. But Everton, I had good faith in. Carlo Ancelotti, James Rodriguez, the way they built that team, I had faith in them. I thought they would be great. They were pretty good, considering top half is amazing in the Premier League, especially since you're only 3 places away from a Europa Conference spot. That's pretty good. Everton needs to be a little bit higher, and I'm happy to see it. Carlo Ancelotti is an amazing manager, and I'm so happy he's getting them higher and higher. That's what he does. So, Carlo is great, and he did great. Next up, Leeds United. Predicted them to finish 8th. They finished 9th. That's -1, but not many people had that much faith in Leeds. Irish guy. But I was in the ballpark for Leeds. I thought they would finish right outside the Europa spots, or the Europa Conference spot. I believed in Leeds. I believe in Marcelo Bielsa. I love attacking football. I think Leeds is a great team. I don't know if they'll have second season syndrome. I don't think so. I think they'll recruit well and just do even better, or stay where they were. At least Europa Conference. But Leeds was great this year. They proved a lot of people wrong. Not me, because I had them around 8th, 9th. I had them in the top half. I don't have to get a Patrick Bamford tattoo because I'm not Irish guy and I don't wear a scarf. I feel sorry for you. I really do. I really do, Irish guy. I really do. But I love your content, so. Sorry, man. It's gonna suck, I bet. Back to the countdown, or back to the reactions. Next up, Arsenal. I predicted them to go 6th. They finished 8th. That's 2 worst. But it could have been even worse if they kept their December form and didn't get rid of all the dead wood. They had a little bit of a better second half. I mean, it wasn't great, but the league wasn't really great this year either. It was kind of, a lot of people dropped points because of the compression in the COVID season. Compression and all the matches. They did drop points. There was a lot of points dropped. And Arsenal took advantage of that and almost finished 7th. Almost got a Europa Conference League spot, but they were on the outside looking in. Best of the rest, pretty much. Hopefully they could do better, but Arteta's a horrible coach. They need to get rid of Arteta. They need to sign some good players. They need to sell to Daniel Ek. They have a lot of problems. I don't even think 8 papers over the cracks at all. So, you got some work to do. Next up, Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham. Predicted them to finish 5th. They finished 7th. Same sort of area. Europa Conference League club. -2, but Tottenham had a season under Jose and Ryan Mason, but especially Jose. I don't think Jose lost the locker room. I just think Tottenham wasn't that great. They just weren't awesome. They played to what their level ended up being, honestly. Not a great season from Tottenham. Jose, I don't think he's washed up at all. I don't, but you could say that. And those couple of games with Ryan Mason didn't help either. But they're in a Europa Conference League spot. They'll probably win the damn thing. next year unless they should. Even though there will be 8 Europa League teams, at least 4, if not 8, that drop down from the playoff of the knockout round playoff before the round of 16. I still think Tottenham, as the team that they are, even without Harry Kane, should win the Europa Conference League. So they do have a trophy on the horizon. I want them to win it, damn it. And I don't really even like Tottenham. I want them to win it. But there you go. Next up, West Ham United. Predicted them to finish 18th, relegated. They finished 6th. That's a difference of minus 12. I didn't think David Moyes could get him that high. And no, I'm not going to chug the Coca-Cola over there. Because one, it's not alcohol. Second of all, that's kind of stunt Peg's thing. To chug things or take shots when she gets something wrong. Love her channel and love her content. But I'll let her keep her gimmick. Because that's her gimmick. But I think she missed horribly on West Ham too, if I'm not mistaken. But oh my God, I'm so disappointed that I missed that horribly on West Ham. I didn't believe in David Moyes. I mean, why would you? But 6th place with West Ham in Europa League, that's amazing. That's honestly amazing. They were 1 place away from relegation last year. And then they finished 6th. You can't blame me for thinking they'd get relegated. You can't at all, but damn it, that's horrible. Next up, Leicester City. Predicted them to finish 12th. They finished 5th, minus 7, difference of 7. I thought Leicester City was going to carry their form into 2020, 2021. I really did. They didn't. They went back to where they were at the start of last season. Leicester City is a good team. They are. Brendan Rodgers is a great manager, and it's sad that they bottled top 4 again. Well, not for me, because Chelsea's in the Champions League, and, well, I like Chelsea. I support Chelsea, so there you go. But I feel sorry for Leicester, but at least they won the FA Cup, too, so that's a great season for Leicester. They are back to where they need to be, where they want to be. They're getting back there. I have a funny feeling they will finish top 4 next year, though. I really do. I really do. But Leicester had a great season, and I can't believe I didn't believe in Brendan Rodgers. Same there. Next up, Chelsea. I predicted them to finish 2nd. They finished 4th. That's a difference of minus 2, which isn't a bad miss, but I blame Lampard. I blame Lampard because he had a horrible start to the season. They started okay, had a horrible downturn. He got sacked. Then came Tuchel, and they went guns a-blazing. And now they're in the Champions League final, which we will do a double live stream watch along for tomorrow, remember. And I hope they win, because come on Chelsea, up the Chelsea. But Tuchel has got them pretty damn far and pretty damn amazing. The 2nd place prediction will definitely be open next year, and I think they'll be top 2. We'll see, but it'll be them versus City next year with Liverpool there as well, but we'll see. Speaking of Liverpool, predicted them to win the league. They finished 3rd, minus 2. I didn't realize that nobody thought Virgil van Dijk was going to tear his ACL. Nobody thought that the front 3 would turn stale. Nobody thought that their best player in the season would be Jota. Nobody thought that. Honestly, in my thoughts, it was Jota. Jota was their best player. Should be Salah. Should be Mane. Should be Firmino. Should be Van Dijk. Should be Alisson. They got top 4 because of Alisson Becker getting that header, pretty much. Which was an amazing play. But luckily they got a little bit higher, so it didn't look so bad. They got in the top 4 because for a while it looked like they'd finished 7th or 6th, and while that prediction would have looked way horrible, but at least I save a little bit of face from the fact that Alisson Becker is a madman and scored that goal against West Brom. Now, Man United. Predicted them to finish 4th. Actually finished 2nd. Manchester United. Plus 2. Higher by 2 places than I predicted them to go. I don't know if that's a good season or not, because you really should have won the Europa League. You bottled it. Yeah, you finished 2nd. in a league that was this season. The league was all around this season. People want to say last year's Premier League was trash this year. The league was trash. City only won with 86 points. They were down for a quarter of the season, and you couldn't finish first. Now, I know they won like 20 games in a row, but 86 points, that's like top 4 level. 90 points is where you should be to win the league in recent years. And yeah, so the league wasn't great. So Man United were just best of the rest. Kind of like 2018 when they were behind City with Jose, except they were 6 points off the pace. And they bottled the Europa League. That's not a good season, but yeah, they finished second. Great for Ollie. He really should be sacked, and the Glazers should really sell. Will they? Hell no. But that's the point. Back to it. The final team, Manchester City. I predicted them to finish third. They were the champions. They finished first. That's +2. I really should have put Man City higher. I really should have. But to my defense, Liverpool and Chelsea kind of shot themselves in the foot in multiple ways this season. My top 2. But City was always going to be there, and I should have seen it coming. I really should have. But Pep Guardiola is a good manager. I'm not going to say he's the best. He's not. But Pep is a good manager. He's got a great team. They know what they need to do. They're together. They play for together. They play for each other. Great for City. They deserve to be champions this year with 86 points. And I should have expected it, but hey, there you go. Chelsea still won the Champions League, though. Don't worry. With that said, my final score average was 3.5 places off for my predictions, which isn't bad. Sheffield, Wolverhampton, West Ham, and Leicester really hurt that, and Southampton. But hey, you can't win them all, can you? I don't think my Premier League predictions were that bad, besides the Southampton one and the West Ham one. Other than that, they weren't that bad. The Premier League is hard to predict. Not as hard as the Championship, but the Premier League is hard to predict. It is. Besides the top 4, the top 7. Everything after is just a crapshoot. And even then, a team could have an amazing season. But hey, you know what I did get bang on? Inter Milan winning the Scudetto. I called it. Look at my Twitter. Inter Milan winning the Scudetto. Called it. Don't worry about that. I was bang on about that, but 0 correct, like bang on correct for these predictions. So I pulled an Irish guy, but at least I don't have to get a tattoo. So with that said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell all your friends. Join the Guglielmi app. Links to the App Store version of it is in the description. Look it up on Google Play if you have Google, Android, because I don't have an Android. So look that up there. And then also join my Patreon, subscribe to my Patreon, links in the description, and my YouTube banner. Click on that, subscribe to my Patreon, join there. $5, $10, or $20 a month for one of the 3 tiers. I deserve to get paid because I really do. Join my Patreon. You love to see it. So do that. If you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell all your friends. Tomorrow, I have a double live stream watch-along reaction. Columbus Crew versus Toronto FC. Chelsea versus Man City in the UEFA Champions League. And then the RSR for Columbus Toronto. You love to see it. Hope to see you there. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace.